We're going to simplify and estimate square roots. So first, let's just remember the key. The square root of, say, x means, okay, this special number n such that n times n equals x. So if we're looking for the square root of 2, then what times what equals 2. And those two numbers have to be the same. Or the square root of 4, what times what equals 4. Well, that has to be 2. So the square root of 4, of course, is 2. All right, let's talk about some others that you know. You know the square root of 1, which is just 1. You know the square root of 9, which is 3. The square root of 16, 4. Square root of 25. Square root of 36. Square root of 49. Square root of 81. Oops, skipped one. Square root of 64. Square root of 81. Square root of 100. Square root of 121. Square root of 144. Alright, these are going to be key for us. And the square root of 4 equals 2. I should have put those in order. You can in your own notes. Okay, so let's talk about estimating. So let's estimate, for example, the square root of 5. Well, we know the square root of 4. What's the next one we know? Square root of 5 is going to be somewhere just a bit bigger than the square root of 4. And then we don't know square root of 6, square root of 7, square root of 8, but we do know the square root of 9. So this is 2, and the square root of 9 is 3, meaning that the square root of 5 has to be in between 2 and 3 somewhere. It seems like it's going to be closer to 2. So we could try out numbers. Let's try 2.2. If we do 2.2 times 2.2, if it's very close to 5, then we know that 2.2 is a good estimate. 5.64. So too big, so let's try 2.1. And that's a bit too small. But we have a good idea that it's between 2.1 and 2.2. That helps us estimate. So the square root of 5 is about, because this 0. Actually, it's about 2.1. That was closer. 2.2 is a little bit further away. Is about 2.1. And you can do the same with any other square roots, just trying to figure out which two whole numbers it's between. Let's talk about simplifying. Actually, let's do one more estimate. Let's do the square root of 35. Alright, well that's between the square root of 25 and the square root of 36. Those are two square roots that I can find the exact value for. So this is 5 and this is 6. So for this one we'll just say the square root of 35 is between 5 and 6, closer to 6. Okay, let's talk about simplify. Okay, so if we take something like, say, the square root of 48, well, we can rewrite this as the square root of 16 times the square root of 3, because 16 times 3 is 48. Now notice this part. This is the perfect square part. I can just go ahead and take the square root of that. That's 4 root 3. This is the simplified version of the square root of 48. Let's do one with a variable. Okay, first take out all the biggest perfect squares you can. So the biggest perfect square I can think of that divides 50 is 25. The biggest perfect square that divides x cubed is x squared. What do I have left? 25 times 2 gives me 50. I've got one x left. So this is going to give me 5x root 2x. On your worksheet, there will be a few that you need to multiply or divide. So say you've got the square root of 6 times, the square root of 15. Okay, so you can just go ahead and multiply those together. That equals the square root of 45. Now let's think of the biggest perfect square that divides 45. I think it's going to be 9, because this is 9 times 5. Notice knowing my multiplication facts is really useful here. So that can reduce to 3 root 5.